A wedding is supposed to be one of the happiest days in a person's life, a celebration of love and commitment between two people who are in love with each other. But unfortunately, this wasn't the case for the groom in today's video. Just take a look at his face. He looks absolutely heartbroken. And when you see what was written on the photo, it will all make sense to you. Welcome back, everyone. Today we will be taking a look at the wedding photo that revealed a secret killer. Before we begin, please like and subscribe so you don't miss out on our latest videos. Also, let us know in the comments below if you think you could solve the mystery. Alright, now let's get started. Before we start describing the image, we would like to say that there are many different ways to interpret an image based on body language and facial expressions. We are just suggesting a possible explanation, and your interpretation might differ from ours. Now, let's dive in. In the picture, we see a couple who appears to be newly married. They are standing right in front of a wall on which someone has spray painted the words, "I love you." The bride is wearing a white dress, which is common for weddings, especially in Christian ceremonies. The bride is also holding a bouquet of flowers, and if you zoom in on her face, you can actually see how happy she is to be getting married. Her smile is bright, and even the wrinkles around her eyes show how happy she is. Her left hand is covering her chest, and the fingers of her right hand are spread wide, which symbolizes openness and trust. She feels completely comfortable with her partner. The groom, on the other hand, doesn't seem to feel the same way. His posture is stiff, and he's looking away. It almost looks like he's trying to hide something behind his back. This is odd, since the photographer most likely asked them to turn towards each other and embrace. This is a classic wedding picture, so why isn't he looking at his wife? He doesn't seem to care about the fact that they just got married. You can clearly see how sad he is. The corners of his mouth are turned down and his eyebrows are wrinkled, but that's not all. If you look closely at his left hand, you will notice that his fingers are clenched into a fist. A clenched fist means tension, anger, or concentration. But why would he be concentrating during his own wedding? To make things worse, he is also biting his fingernails, which is another sign of stress. But why is he feeling this way? There has to be some kind of explanation. Well, if you look closely at the background, you can see a woman who is dressed similarly to the bride. She's also wearing a white dress and a veil. It looks like she is walking towards the couple, but they aren't paying any attention to her. Why would this woman be here? Who is she to the couple? Is she the bride's sister? Maybe. Or maybe she is the ex-girlfriend of the groom. But the most important question is, why does the groom react this way whenever he sees her? And now we have come to the most shocking part of the video. Take a look at the photo again, but this time pay attention to the writing on the wall. Someone wrote, "I love you" there, but then crossed it out. Then someone else wrote "forever," but that too was crossed out. Then someone wrote "my love" and crossed that out as well. Finally, the last message says, "Marry me." This is crazy. So the messages were basically a countdown to the proposal. But who wrote these messages? Was it the bride who was asking the groom to marry her? Or was it the groom asking the other woman? Remember, this is just our theory. Feel free to share yours in the comments. There is another detail in the picture that no one seems to pay attention to. Take a look at the bride's left hand again. If you remember, she is covering her chest with it. But why is she doing that? Why is she hiding something? The answer is simple. She is hiding the fact that she isn't wearing a wedding ring. Normally, every bride is extremely excited to wear her wedding ring because it symbolizes the bond between her and her husband. However, this bride didn't seem too enthusiastic about it. In fact, she probably felt really bad about having to marry someone she didn't love. If you have been following the video so far, you already have enough clues to solve the mystery. Let's recap everything real quick. The groom is either engaged to the wrong woman or he's having cold feet. He is angry, nervous, and stressed. He doesn't love the bride, and he constantly looks at another woman who is walking towards him. That woman is most likely the woman he loves. But there is still one detail left, and that is the most important piece of evidence. If you look very closely at the groom's hand, you will see that he is holding a wedding ring. Not only that, but it is actually a woman's ring. He is supposed to put it on his future wife's finger. But as you can see, that doesn't happen. Now you understand why the groom was looking at the wall with those messages. It was him who wrote them. He was asking himself to marry the other woman, but sadly, he had no choice. He had to go through with the wedding. Why? Because the other woman rejected him. That's why he looked so sad. He couldn't marry the woman he loved, so he decided to leave her and marry someone else. But why did he choose the bride? Was it because she was rich? Maybe. Or maybe he felt sorry for her. But there is another possibility. Maybe the bride was the one who blackmailed him. Maybe she threatened him and told him she would ruin his life if he didn't marry him. That would explain why she was covering her chest. She probably didn't want anyone to see that she wasn't wearing a wedding ring. Unfortunately, we will never know the true story behind this photo. What is happening in this picture is a serious issue. Most men who find themselves in a similar situation often run away from their responsibilities. They believe that by running away, they can escape their problems. But running away is never the solution. It only makes things worse. What do you think the groom should have done? Should he have married the other woman? Or was it better to marry the woman he was engaged to? Share your thoughts with us in the comments. You probably won't believe this, but this isn't the only time a wedding photo exposed a secret. In 2013, a wedding photographer captured the perfect moment between a groom and his father. The father looked at his son with pride. It looked like nothing could ruin their special day. Everything seemed perfect until the picture was developed. When the photographer saw the negative, he couldn't believe his eyes. Behind the groom, there was a man pointing a gun at him. Fortunately, the groom didn't notice him. Otherwise, he would have definitely been shot. The photographer called the police immediately, and they investigated the case. Eventually, they found the culprit. It was the groom's uncle. At first, he said he was joking around. He just wanted to surprise his nephew. However, the police didn't buy his excuse. The uncle was arrested. Later, it turned out he planned to kill the groom because he hated him for marrying his daughter. But thankfully, the plan failed. We don't know whether the groom ever found out what his uncle had planned. But if he did, he was probably glad he didn't see it. These are just two stories out of many. There have been cases where wedding photos exposed cheating, lies, and even death. That is why it is always a good idea to be careful. Never know what secrets lurk beneath the surface. Thank you for watching. Have you ever seen a strange detail in a picture? Let us know in the comments. Everyone has different observation skills. Your ability to pay attention is much better than ours. That is why you must subscribe and comment. And most importantly, like the video and share with friends.